Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy here, and this is just your average podcast. This is not for the super sports heads. This is not for the statistical geniuses. This is for the guys that they love sports, but we got a life, and we can't really watch every game. We can't check every scoreboard, and as we get older, we spend less and less time following the sport, but we still got a little eye on it, and we always kind of want to know what's going on, right? So this is for you, because I've fallen into that spot. I used to be the guy that followed every single sport, watched every single game, knew every single player, and as life goes on and as I got older, and I just didn't have the time to actually do that. So I'll create a spot where people can come and not feel judged for not knowing everything, because we can't know everything, but yeah, this is the place where you can be casual. You can just like to watch sports and not really want your brain to be on super mode every single time you watch it, and watch it from a different aspect. You just watch it for the fun of it, and so this is a quick update on everything that's happened since last Wednesday up until this is Tuesday afternoon. So it's not going to include any of the games, the NBA game tonight or anything like that. That'll be on next week's podcast, right? Cool. It's going to be no fluff, just straight sports, straight talking. I love to hear your takes. Love to hear, what do you guys do? How long you've been watching sports? What is your favorite sport? Drop down in the comments below. What's your favorite sport to watch? And in that sport, what's your favorite team? My favorite sport to watch is football. My favorite team is the 49ers. My second favorite would be NBA. And I love the Lakers, man. I'm a California kid, so I'm a ride or die with my California teams, right? And so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. I know the intro's been a little bit long. First, we're going to start with the NBA. We'll go back to the play-in. Last week we had the play-in games. Quick little recap. You had the Clippers lose in the first game against the Golden State Warriors. It was a great defensive game late for the Warriors. A game of runs back and forth. You had multiple 10-plus point leads by the Clippers, and they wound up giving it up in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry got hot. Al Horford got hot from 3 in the fourth. And Draymond Green, he sat in defense, and Kawhi Leonard came up short. The Kawhi Leonard kind of deal with the Clippers looks like it's coming to an end. 7 years, no championships, 1 Western Conference Finals, and they, and he didn't even play in that one. So, to me, that whole experiment has been basically a wash, and they have single-handedly built the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Clippers draft pick that they had now goes over to OKC. But the Clippers still have a chance to get a top 5 pick if the Indiana Pacers pick that they got doesn't end in the top 4. So if the Pacers jump into the top 4, the Clippers will not have any picks. But if they fall out of the top 4, they'll have whatever pick Indiana winds up getting. Okay, on to the next one. So after that, you had Orlando. They played against Philadelphia without Joel Embiid. As we know, Joel Embiid is always hurt. This time he had appendicitis, where, if you don't know, it's basically his appendix bust. You got to get it removed. And this guy is just unlucky. But they were able to win. They were able to beat Orlando. To me, Orlando's one of the more disappointing teams from the year. We thought they were going to make a jump this year, but their offense has been really bad. They lose that game to Philadelphia. Philadelphia gets the 7th seed. Yeah. Then we had another matchup where we have Phoenix versus the Trailblazers, and Phoenix had the 7th seed. They were at home. They wound up losing to the Trailblazers. Denny Advia goes crazy, drops 40 points, and has a crazy fourth quarter, beats Phoenix, and then Phoenix goes ahead and plays Golden State in their next game for the 8th seed for the right to play Oklahoma City, and Phoenix beats Golden State. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Golden State, they looked old. They looked older. Steph Curry looked older. I understand Steph Curry is coming off that injury, and so he's not 100% healthy. But after such a great win, it was such a letdown to see Golden State just not have enough to give it all in that next game, right? And so Golden State's been eliminated from the playoffs, and so has the Clippers. Now on the other side, Orlando will then play against Charlotte, and we skipped Charlotte. Charlotte played against Miami. The Charlotte game was actually one of the best games of the play-in, and Charlotte winds up winning a game winner LaMelo Ball layup. He was actually horrible in the game and was a big reason why the game was as close as it was, but he set the fire and he put it out, so can't really be too upset about it. It is what it is. Miami, just, another loss. I didn't really expect Miami to do much at all. They were the 10 seed. They played Charlotte on the road. You did have that instance where LaMelo Ball trips. He kind of like pulled his arm out and tripped Bam Adebayo. And look, man, I mean, LaMelo got to grow up at some point, but he's fun to watch, and the kids love him, but he's just unserious when it comes to being a leader in basketball for an NBA team. Maybe he grows up, maybe this is the wake-up call he needs. He wasn't suspended, and he did hurt Bam, and Bam was out for the rest of the game. But look, it is what it is. That's why you don't find yourself in the play-in, because anything can happen in the play-in game, and you can somebody can get hurt, a team can get hot from three, you can go cold, and then you're out of the playoffs. And that's what happened. And then Charlotte goes on to play Orlando, and Orlando absolutely destroyed them. And the size, you can see Orlando is really like the length that Orlando has over Charlotte. The size, the guys are just bigger, stronger. It just was not. It was nothing, right? So Orlando gets in. They're the number 8 seed, and then we start the playoffs. We start the playoffs on Saturday. And Saturday was, I would say, it was good basketball, because we had the 3 seed versus the 6 seed and the 4 seed versus the 5 seeds. So we had decent games. My Lakers got a win against the Rockets. The Rockets played without Kevin Durant. As we know, the Lakers are without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. So, I mean, it's kind of even there. The Lakers get a dub. New York, they get a dub against Atlanta. They go up 1-0. You had Denver play against Timberwolves, a 3-6 matchup. Denver gets a dub. They go up 1-0. And then the last game was Toronto versus Toronto and Cleveland. And Cleveland gets a dub there. They go up 1-0. And then we go into Sunday. And now Sunday was all the 1 and 2 seeds. All the 1 and 2 seeds won except Detroit. Detroit did lose their first game against Orlando. And Detroit now, I think this is like, they haven't won a home playoff game in like almost 20 years now. It's crazy, the number. Yeah, it's getting kind of wild in there. But I do think Detroit bounces back and wins 4 of the next 5 games and want to win that series in 6. They might win 4 straight and win in 5. But we'll see. So Boston, they blow out Philadelphia. Philadelphia's still playing without Embiid. OKC blows out the Suns. They're playing without Mark Williams with no size. They're dead in the water. And then you have San Antonio that didn't blow out the Blazers, but they won handily. And you can tell that that series is probably going to be done in 4. Maybe Blazers get hot from 3 and can steal a game, but that's probably going to be done in 4, right? Then you go into Monday, and then Monday, that's where things started to get a little interesting, right? And so last night, you had a crazy game where Minnesota came back against Denver. They were down by 19 early. They came back, won that game against Denver, tied the series up 1-1. That's going to be a great series. I don't expect it to go no less than 6. And most likely going 7. Then you had the Atlanta Hawks steal a game against New York in New York, and that series is tied 1-1. That was another game that decided in the fourth quarter, where New York had the lead majority of the game and wound up giving that game away late to Atlanta. And guys, I mean, like, I understand Brunson is the guy, but come on, somebody else has to step up for New York late in games. Like, somebody has to. And then the other game, you had Cleveland. And Cleveland, to me, is the one team that I think that a lot of people aren't talking about, like, doing well in the playoffs. I think Cleveland goes to the Eastern Conference Finals, winds up losing to Boston in 6 games, but they go a lot further than a lot of people are kind of slotting them right now. And then you have games tonight. My Lakers play tonight. We're going for a 2-0 lead. Kevin Durant should be back playing tonight, but we'll see. And then we got a couple more games. I'll look and see about those. But in a general sense, the NBA is, it's playoff time, baby. And I don't keep up too much with the first round because there's typically not many upsets in the first round. You might have a 6-3 upset or a 4-5. But 4-5 typically doesn't feel like an upset because the teams are typically even matched. And an even 3-6, depending on the conference, like in the Western Conference, the 3-6 matchup is separated by maybe 3 or 4 games. And so if a 6 seed were to beat a 3 seed, like Minnesota beat the Lakers last year, it's not really like crazy that it happened, right? So that's my NBA little update there for the last week. I know it was long, so if you haven't caught any of the playoff games, you're pretty much caught up now, right? So let's go ahead and move over to the NFL. We got the draft coming up on Thursday. Let's go. That should be a fun time. As we already know, Mendoza is going number 1 overall, and then after that, I don't think I've seen one mock draft that has number 2 the same person, right? And so it should be a very fun draft. I think there's going to be a lot of trading going on in the first round because there's a lot of edge rushers, there's a lot of wide receivers, and if a guy falls, you'll see teams moving up. Let me take that back. There may not be a lot of moving up because unless they're using this year's draft picks. I've heard that next year's draft is supposed to be super strong, super deep. So a lot of teams are trying to hold on to their draft compensation for next year, and they're trying to move up in this draft because they feel like there is a big drop-off after day 2. So they think that day 3 is very weak this year, and so they want to hold on to a lot of their draft capital for next year, so that way when the draft is a lot deeper and day 3 is more prevalent, they have a lot of draft capital for next year. So you might not see a lot of teams trade up, and if they do, you'll see them trade, maybe this year's picks later, like they'll drop some of their 5th round, 6th round picks to move up, or they'll be using their 2028 draft capital to move up. A lot of teams will keep on to that 27. You did have the 49ers re-sign Trent Williams. That was a saga that was going on for a long time. They were able to get their cap number down, $20 million, re-sign him, 2 years, $50 million, $38 million guaranteed. He's still a top 10 left tackle in the league. He deserves the money. Very simple. And that's a win-win situation for both sides. The 49ers are all in on a Super Bowl run. They needed a left tackle. They weren't going to get somebody at the 27th pick that was going to be comparable. And so they had to go ahead and re-sign him. Maybe they draft his replacement in the 2nd round or the 1st round. I doubt it. But if they do draft his replacement, they have him there to teach. Because if they were to draft his replacement without him there, 1, you don't have him there to teach them, and 2, that's a big drop off having a rookie left tackle when you picking him late in the 1st round or in the 2nd round. That's just not, the talent is not going to be there. As just is what it is. The AJ Brown story is still the top story right now, where people are basically just clamoring for him to go to the Patriots. Like, that's just a big story right now. It's just A.J. Brown to the Patriots, A.J. Brown to the Patriots, A.J. Brown to the Patriots. So, since that's the big story, they said that he's going to be... they have to trade him after June 1st just for the money to make sense and for them to not take a big cap hit. And so, most likely on June 2nd, A.J. Brown is going to be traded to the Patriots. So be it. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think the Patriots will be in the Super Bowl next year. I don't think the Eagles will be in the Super Bowl next year. And so it's pretty much irrelevant because to me personally, I don't know. I'm not an Eagle fan. I'm not a Patriots fan. I told you I'm a 49er fan. So I really don't care what the Eagles do as long as they don't beat the 49ers. And they haven't really had our number. We've had theirs. Yeah, they beat us in the NFC Championship game, but we ain't had no quarterback. All right? So chill out. Calm down. And the next year, we walked into Philly, and we tore that ass up. All right? We tore that ass up. we got our revenge the next year, right? You know? And they be like, we wasn't the same team. We don't care. We got our revenge. It wasn't the same, you know, whatever, but we got the dub, all right? And we beat them again this year. So, you know, they got the one that count, though. I ain't gonna lie. I can't lie. I got the one that count. I got the one that count. There's not much in the NFL that's going on right now, but the draft is this Thursday. Tune into that. It should be great. It should be a lot of fun. Lots of fun. I don't watch too much college football like I used to. I just don't have the time. I'm a weekend dad as well, so I have my kids on the weekends a lot, and I just really don't have the time anymore to watch a lot of college football. I don't have the time to watch a lot of college football. I just don't. And to be honest with you, with the NIL and how teams change and everything like that, it's hard to keep up with guys and where they're playing and who they play for. You know, guys don't just play for teams for 3-4 years anymore. They go where the money is, which I don't blame them at all. It's hard to keep up with now. You know, it's hard to follow. It's hard to know where guys are at because it changes every single year. I can't wait for football to start back up. I know this is like I'm a huge football guy. Huge football guy. As I said before, so whenever football is not going on, you know, life is boring. I need my Sundays back. Well, but now it's like Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, some Fridays, and Saturday. Like, it's just, you got too much. You got too much going on now. Like, NFL's, they trying to take over every day of the week. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Get it how you live. Take over. You making the most money out of all of the 4 sports right now, the most watched sport. Totally understand. Totally get it. With that, let's transition. Let's do a quick update on some NHL playoffs. I don't really follow NHL too much, but I know some of you do follow NHL, and, you know, NHL gets left out when it comes to, you know, national coverage. They don't really talk about it too much. So, yeah, this is for my hockey fans, and if you watch hockey, go ahead, drop a hockey puck down below. Or a hockey stick, and tell me who your favorite team is. You know, me personally, like, I'm from California. I'm a Kings fan. LA Kings, baby. You know, I know it's kind of cliche, but I'm from California, so I rock with my teams. And I don't know how many Kings games I've probably watched over the years, but I will tell you, playoff hockey, it's up there. I can't even sit here in front. Playoff hockey, it get down, okay? Honestly, I think playoff hockey is better than playoff basketball. Me personally, I think it is. Now, other people can, you know, think differently. I think if you had to rank, and this is me going off script a little bit, but if you had to rank, like, the level of playoffs, like the 4 major sports, I would say number 1 is baseball. baseball is the #1 playoff sport. Number 2 is hockey. 2 is hockey. 3 is NFL, and 4 is NBA. Okay? And that's just me personally. That's my spiel. If you think differently, hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I ain't gonna knock you for it. That's just how I feel. All right? It's gonna be a little quick pivot. To some hockey real quick. So NHL, they coming through with some of the big surprises too, right? Their playoff just started this weekend, and look, it's spicy over there in the NHL. You know what I mean? They started off with a bang too. You had Buffalo pull off a wild comeback to beat Boston in Game 1, 4-3. That was a game, right? Listen, and then Montreal took Game 1 from Tampa at 4-3 in overtime, and we all know how good Tampa is. Come on now, you could barely watch hockey or just skim and know, Montreal beating Tampa Bay in Game 1 was like, what? But it's Game 1, game. It's just starting. It's I will say that road teams tend to win more, in my opinion, in NHL a lot. Like the road teams win a lot in NHL in comparison to other sports, in my opinion. This whole video is my opinion, all right? So, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about just having an opinion on something. Everybody has their entitled to their own opinion. Then you had Carolina. They jumped all over Ottawa. They're up 2-0 in that series, right? Looks like that. They might make quick work of that, but you never know. The series could start 2-0 and then wind up being a 7-game series. I've seen crazier things happen, trust me. And in a complete shocker, you got the Flyers. They're up 2-0 on the Penguins, like completely playing with house money, like up 2-0 on the road. 2 wins on the road, and look. Pittsburgh all year has been a team where they have, I don't know, they just feel like they've underperformed and overperformed at the same time. I don't understand how they're able to do that, but it just feels like that's who they are. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just, they're kind of weird. They kind of got a vibe where I feel like they're better than they should be, but then at times they're worse than they should be. I don't know. Oh, Vegas and Utah. That should be a good series. Utah is a team that is kind of overlooked a lot, but Vegas was able to clutch out the Game 1 in that one. But they're going to have to fight hard to beat Utah in that series. Utah has been a team that's hard to beat this year. They're not going to be an easy out. They're going to make you work. Even if you sweep them, even if they win 4-0, it's going to be a hard-fought 4 games. Edmonton, they edged out Anaheim 4-3. Look, just having them, the Ducks, in the playoffs again is really good. It's the mighty Ducks, man. Come on, having them in the playoffs is good for TV, but I don't expect them to win a series. But it's good to see them, the long journey back to being relevant. It's good to see it actually finally paying off for them. NHL started off with a bang. It's pretty hot. Should be fun. NHL it's unforgiving, man. One mistake, season could be over. And the game planning is very, like, people don't understand, but game planning is very, 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 very strenuous in the NHL playoffs. And so if you're an NHL fan, you're having fun, and congrats, man. And then finally, we'll do a quick lap of the MLB and we'll be done. All right, shout out to you if you're still listening to this video, man. If you're still here, shout out to you, man. You know what I mean? You're a real one. Comment down below play on baseball if you're still here. You know what I mean? You know what, I can wrap this up real quick. LA Dodgers and everybody else. That's simply what it is. The LA Dodgers are far and away the best team in the MLB. It's just that simple. Unless there is huge injuries and they just fall apart and look, the Dodgers are going to win again. There is nobody close to as good as this team is. There's nobody close. There's nobody even close, all right? And I can go through and tell you all the good stuff and all the stuff and how teams are overperforming and underperforming. But at the end of the day, there's going to be 162 baseball games for each team. And they're going to go into the playoffs. And there's going to be a wild card. And there's going to be an ALCS. And the AL, is it going to be an ALDS, NLDS, ALCS, NLCS. And there's going to be a World Series. And guess what? The Dodgers are going to be in the World Series again, and they're going to win again. And it's that simple. And if you're a baseball fan, this is similar to when Golden State was running the NBA for that time. It is the exact same thing. They are the best team in the MLB. There's nobody that is close. And it's everybody else is showing up for a paycheck because they have no chance. It's that simple. I mean, I can go into depth, I can do all that, but it's just not going to make any sense because at the end of the day, there's nobody beating them. It's not. There's nobody beating them. And if I was still a betting man, I would bet a lot of money right now on the Dodgers to win the World Series. And that's as simple as that. Guys, that is it. I'm done for the day. I'm signing off. I appreciate you for listening. If you've been listening this long, if you listen to the whole thing, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're one of the few that are actually, that just watch sports and, just to watch it. You just have fun watching it. You don't really want to know, what's the slugging percentage and the on-base percentage of every batter. You want to know, who's setting screens and how many pick and rolls are ran and who's shooting what percentage out of the corner. You know what I mean? You don't always want to know what's the third down completion percentage of the quarterback and, his downfield percentage and, the defensive tackles win rates and how many times he's double teamed versus how many times he gets one-on-one. Sometimes you don't want to know all that. Sometimes you just want to watch the sport, enjoy it, and catch up on it. And that's what this channel is for. This is just your average podcast, guys. I love you. God bless. Catch you next time.